What's up guys, it's Will back again, and today's review is Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton is a 2015 biographical drama film that was directed by F. Gary Gray and is based on the career of the rap group referred to as NWA. This film was first requested to me by MieKayla Singleton on my Event Horizon review that I released back on the 13th of October. As you can tell, I'm actually pretty sick, but I'm still gonna tough out this review regardless, so hopefully my voice doesn't annoy you guys too much, because I sort of sound like one of those radio announcers with the really deep voices, but whatever, hopefully it's fine. So Straight Outta Compton takes place in the late 80s to early 90s, where a group of men living in the at times harsh city of Compton, California, eventually form a rap group referred to as NWA. NWA eventually writes and records a song entitled Boys in the Hood that draws some serious attention, particularly the attention of music manager Jerry Heller, played by Paul Giamatti, who signs the group to a management contract which eventually leads to a record deal. And the rest of the film is spent primarily with the members of NWA as they perform their music that's designed to bring attention to the realities and everyday struggles, while we also watch the evolving group dynamic, how the group deals with fortune and fame, as well as a decent portion of the public demonizing their music. Okay, so I was actually pretty excited when MieKayla requested this film to be reviewed because I've already seen it before and I really enjoyed it. When I watched it again yesterday, I enjoyed it just as much, if not more so. I actually remember my brother trying to convince me to go see this film with him back in 2015, and I was like, I don't know, man, I'm actually not a huge fan of rap music, so I don't know if I really like it that much, but boy was I wrong, because this is one very well made film. And I think it really shattered a lot of people's expectations, because I don't think a lot of people thought this was going to be as wildly successful and well told a story as it was. I mean, it was the highest grossing R-rated August film of all time, and more importantly, it was the highest grossing biopic of all time, which are obviously some fantastic achievements. I also found myself in the boat kind of wishing that this film got some more love from the Academy at the 2016 Oscars, because it was only nominated for one award, Best Original Screenplay, which it didn't win. I think to a lot of people's surprise, this is a film that certainly reaches the level of realism and dramatic heights that are needed to be at the very least nominated for multiple Oscars. For me, this would have been a Best Picture nominee, which is kind of crazy because when I watched the trailer the first time, I thought this would be a more entertaining film than it was a dramatic one. But boy, once again, was I wrong. I think what Straight Outta Compton did so well was to offer a story that holds absolutely nothing back. In some ways, it reminds me of Moonlight because it establishes the environment very quickly and shows how that environment has shaped the personalities and beliefs of our main characters. And then as the environments and circumstances change, you can still see how the evolution of the characters, regardless of the situation, always comes back to their experiences in Compton and how it's given them a different perspective than basically everyone else around them. This gives us a firm understanding of our characters and how they adapted to their environment, and because of this we get a very clear idea of their motivations, which are present throughout the whole film basically. And what I loved about these characters is not that they're occasionally motivated by money, which they are sometimes, it's that the majority of the time they're not. Their motivations as a group are crystal clear throughout the entire film, like I said, firstly to make music that is honest and a reflection of their reality, and second to provide a voice to the people who are mostly voiceless through NWA's music. Ice Cube even said in one interview during the middle portion of the film that their art is a reflection of their reality, and that's displayed to you, the viewer, through the previous scenes and the lyrics themselves. While our characters remain forever impacted by their hometown of Compton, it was also really cool to watch their evolution as they're introduced to new environments. There was a very clear progression for all of these characters because they started to think bigger than they ever did when they were first starting out. They mature, they improve their craft, and most importantly for dramatic purposes, they succumb to the temptations of fame and fortune, and they fight from within. One of the best parts of this film was watching the changing group dynamic and how outside influencers such as Jerry Heller impacted the health of NWA, because the more successful they become, the more stressful the job becomes, and the characters disagree and they get divided on important issues by parties that are attempting to sway them in one direction or another. I think watching the inner turmoil of NWA was one of the best and most honest parts of the film, and the previously mentioned temptations of the industry like women and alcohol and so forth that a lot of our characters take part in was also brutally honest as well. I like that certain NWA members had a role in the production process of this film, and it seems like they wanted this to be an honest telling of their story with nothing filtered whatsoever, and it definitely wasn't. With a drama film like this, these characters have to be great or your experience will likely suffer, and these characters are all beautifully brutal and honest portrayals of their real life figures. I hadn't heard of any of these actors before besides Paul Giamatti. This is one extremely talented cast that I hope to see in future films to come because they all wowed me in their own way. But the actor I was most impressed with was Jason Mitchell in the role of Eazy-e. This dude was incredibly good in this role because he not only looks a lot like the real Eazy-e, but he also delivered a performance that really is extremely well rounded. He displayed anger, he displayed regret, he displayed happiness, and several other emotions that really provided add a lot of depth to this story. Jason Mitchell really blew me away with how good he was in this movie, and he was actually in Kong Skull Island as well, and I really hope to see him in more films to come. And something else that I really enjoyed, which was actually kind of surprising to me at least, was the music. Straight Outta Compton delivered some of the best mixing of music that I've seen from a film, because a lot of the live performance scenes are exceptionally done, and every other scene that wasn't a live performance was so well placed, it's crazy. Because when you look at the soundtrack, almost all of the songs are from NWA members, but those songs are placed just at the precise time when they're relevant to the events happening in the story, and it syncs up very nicely. Like I said, I don't even really like rap music all that much, but I really enjoyed the music in this film. So there's just one small complaint that I have with Straight Outta Compton, and it's the film's occasional tendency to over-dramatize certain events. One specific example is when Dre is talking to Suge Knight, and he asks him what his own record label is going to be called, and he stops, turns, and pauses for a second and says, Aftermath. Like, just stuff like that just feels a little bit overdone and like it's relying too much on nostalgia. There are a couple scenes like this that just don't play out as naturally as I would have liked. But overall, I really enjoyed Straight Outta Compton. I thought it had a brutal and honest telling of a real life story, fantastic well-developed characters, great use of music throughout, and some really strong acting performances from the entire cast. The only knock I have on this film is that it has an occasional tendency to over-dramatize certain events. But I'm still going to give Straight Outta Compton a 9.5 out of 10 and recommend that you watch this one if you haven't already, if you're old enough to handle the adult content and you either enjoy rap music or you're just looking for a great drama film. So did you guys see Straight Outta Compton yet? What did you think of it? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And if you haven't seen it, let me know why not. And also let me know your favorite biopic and your favorite film based around music in general. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks again to MieKayla Singleton for the request, whose channel link you can find in the description below. Keep them coming, everyone. That's all for now though. This is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.